So it's 4:20. What a great day to do a garden check-in. Tons of asparagus. Really coming in nicely. They'll be a year old soon. And we do get some asparagus from them. So if they're bigger than your pinky, you can take them. And the rest we just kind of let grow and fern out. The mustards are going to seed, as are some of these beautiful Italian cabbages. Scarlet runner over there, coming up the old okra. I don't know if the old okra will hold it. We have lots of onions. Won't be ready for a while, but they're coming up. The white is so pretty to see. Obviously, all of our mustards are really going to flower and seed. Pretty kales are still coming in. A lot of our kales you can now get at the Daily Squeeze in their juices. More onions. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a pear on that tree, one lonely pear. Magnolias are blooming. Still have a lot of radish flowers left, although you can see over there by that pile, I've really been pulling a lot of them. Cilantro over there budding. And just check out this gorgeous chair that our neighbor made for us. But look at the mushrooms. 3 different varieties of fungus, which is so cool because we've been watching that the fungus movie. It's an urban garden. There's our neighbors. And we are loaded with apples. Ooh, and look, there's a fresh monarch. You can tell it's so vibrant that it's just fresh and it's not flying away from me very quickly. Look at all those apples. So also in this bed we have some leeks. And we've been pulling the cabbages, but they're making little baby cabbages, so we'll leave them for a while. Just look at how beautiful this red Russian kale is. These are our Italian cabbages. They're really gorgeous. But as you can see from the one back over there, some of them are just bolting out. Lots of carrots here, ready to come out. This is a fun little thing I tried. They're very small though, they're quite stunted, but within the banana tree area, Barry, our guy, made this nice little border and I bored some holes and put a few plants. There's some dahlias and a tomato plant. We'll see how they do. But the bananas are looking good. Still have some peas on the vine. And again, still kales. Oh, I can use this as a pointer. We still have kales. That was a giant green mustard. This Romanesco is really cool. I've tried this for years and it's never worked out so well. But this one's coming along nicely. Keep it covered. They've just tasted funky and they just never really grew well. So we'll see. That's why we didn't plant too many. And Trinitas Christian actually planted these. And then carrots that are ready to come out. Look, these guys are flowering, which is great because I love all the seeds. The spinach, I love how things just come back around here. So that's the Okinawan is just coming back and ready to take over this whole area as soon as again we have more onions. These are the Creole onions and they're not ready yet, but we've been taking a few just because they're good and we've been enjoying them. And they were planted on March 18th and we got some little buds here. It won't be long. Of course I could be missing some. And then we have eggplant in here. There's a pretty flower. Pretty bush bean flower. And then we have eggplant over there. Lots of arugula over here, the arugula seeds, use my pointer, and lettuce that needs to come out of the garden. So not sure if you heard or not, but we did lose funding for the garden. and we're doing our best to try to raise funds just to sustain it until Innisfree can come back and pick us up. So any help you can offer would be great in any way. So we still have some parsley. Chard's looking, it's getting pretty eaten, but there's still some in there that's viable. And beautiful bachelor button, edible flower there, and more carrots. And over here was that arugula. So over here we have collards, and they're getting eaten up, but still good, big pretty leaves. And you can see the peas are starting to go, but these are staying for a while. Anyway, I just harvested some yesterday. And our multiplying onions and chives and spinach from before. Volunteer David just emptied this bed out for us. So we'll be getting some more things in. We still have a lot of things to plant over here. Half of this stuff was going to be for Dixon, so we're not doing that right now, but we'll see. So squash and cucumbers, and look, this one's ready to go. We just need to get things in the ground, and with only 4 volunteers at a time, it just makes it a little bit challenging. Lots of sunflowers in the garden coming up, and I used some seeds from Cushaw squash from last year and Seminole, and those are both coming up nicely. They'll take off. We'll have some to share, and I'm a little low on my bell peppers this year, and still don't even see anybody coming up yet. So we need bell peppers. David Reeves just cleared this bed as well. Lots of nasturtiums. We do have some beets down here coming in, and a savory cabbage in here. The scarlet runner is coming in nicely. And we've picked a few beans. Oh, there's a gorgeous one right there. Yum. Such pretty flowers. And that savory cabbage over here. And the beets back there will be a while. And over here we still have lots of kales and lots of tomatillas. So that's a different one that I planted this year. They need friends to cross-pollinate, and here's one tomatilla right there, but it's the only one so far that we have coming out. Another plant. Crazy over here. We still have some radish blooms. I really love these pink ones, and you know you can eat the pods. We got roselle in here and a bunch of weeds. This is where I need help, but not enough space to get help. We have this great Cabernet grape and lots of little buds on there. It's looking really, really pretty. These roselle hibiscus look just great. We have another one there. We have calendula all over the garden. So pretty, and I don't know the varieties because we've just had so many over the years. We just kind of let them, I save the seeds and let them go. Super interesting seed. The most interesting seed I've ever seen in my life. I don't think I see any that have gone to seed yet, but cool seeds. Cucumbers down here all the way along. There's my shadow. Hello. Some cucumbers down here. We're getting rid of this Napa cabbage, but kind of letting whatever's eating it. We have some tomatoes in the ground, donated by a lovely person who read the article about the garden closing. John is his name, from Gulf Breeze. And more asparagus here. These have been here for a long time, but I think the mistake that I made with them was putting them in this ground that has a weed cloth, which I didn't put in, somebody else did. Lots and lots of chocolate mint over here, regular mint over there. There is actually a hidden stinging nettle in there. Lemon balm. And back over here we have a ton of multiplying onions, more tomatoes. I haven't staked them or bambooed them or caged them yet. I'm kind of letting them go, and it's really been a time thing. So I'm kind of wondering what everybody does. I know there's 3 or 4 different things that you can possibly do. One is to take those suckers out. One is to not take them out. One is to let them go on the ground. Another one is to put them on bamboo poles. Another one is to cage them. And honestly, I've just been a little busy, but these I could actually do something with. Some more tomatoes. We like that trilogy of tomatoes, basil, and peppers. So you'll see a lot of gardens like that for us. And then on the fence, we have some more scarlet runners. And then on other fences, we have long beans somewhere, but still plenty of carrots and oregano. And I have no idea what is turning up this soil. It's so interesting because this is just plopped in and this has come up. So I don't know if a rat is burrowing under here or what, but we don't want to tell David because he doesn't like them. And really beautiful beets with some dollar weed. Oh, and here is a cool volunteer from last year, 2 of them actually, but this is bitter melon that's come back. And then this is the cushaw squash. And then of course our whole composting system we have out here that David's been working. So the raw things, the cool change pile, and there's my great shadow again. And then he sifts, and then we have more space over here. And we're actually turning this into a little educational area. This whole board's gonna be converted into an explanation about our composting. And then we have these strawberries down here, little ones. They're a different variety that I've gotten from Baker Creek Seeds. Cilantro going to seed. More cilantro, big old carrot. We put some peppers in here that I just got from Corky's. Bell peppers, because I didn't have any. And then we have this really pretty red sorrel that I got from Baker Creek Seeds. And then this is a Bavarian pepper. And I just saw our first little pepper down there. Got those from Baker Creek as well. And still we have these kales, red Russian and scarlet in the mix, with cilantro going to seed. More leeks over here. And Johnny jump ups. And we just cleared this bed, so we'll be adding. So these are tomatoes that I just haven't had a chance to do anything with yet. But they're flowering. And I know I'm a little embarrassed. I feel like a lazy gardener, but it's just, I don't know, timing and got to get stuff in the ground here and clean up. So these are crimson okra with some peppers mixed in. And our great new volunteer, Paul, put those in with some cucumbers on the back. And like I said, we need to get some more long beans. This is just ready to, it's like an open landscape to just do a lot of things with, but we need to get in here this week. More peas still. The artichokes look horrible. I need to look this up. This is all poi terra root. Johnny jump ups. I threw some tomatoes in over here. This is stevia from Diana. And can put some more things in here really soon. Johnny jump ups, we still have some dill. The sunflowers are gorgeous. Yeah. There's Rob. He's been harvesting the mulberries. And still some chard coming in. It's getting eaten, but some pieces are really pretty. This is just, I need to look this up today. I see the whole ants and aphid thing happening, but man, this black is just nasty. But we do have some artichokes. I've eaten one. There's a nice little ladybug trying to do their job, but we need like 15,000. Well, there's another one. And one of our customers took one of these home, and I had one last week, or a couple of weeks ago. They were great. More mint. Over here, our bees, which have kind of been stinging us a little bit. Nasty old stuff I got to get out of here. But I get afraid of the bees, so I pull and then run. The bees, yeah, they're just working. And arugula seeds, this garden is ready to redo. And arugula still coming in. I want to plant some more arugula just because maybe I can get some in the shade. And then some radishes here. Celery all over the place. Planted some of the pink, but then we have this just from the heads. This came from the Daily Squeeze. I'm just popping out their celery. And look, it just takes off everywhere. I have little celery bunches everywhere, which is great. Rapini, that's an old rapini. sunflowers, strawberries that haven't produced yet, the great potato bed of David, and we put this in the ground on the 4th of February. There's Daisy and Rob. This is the East Hill Edible Garden, and they've been working at it. I pulled the devil's ear. There's some chrysanthemums in here, some really big kale, and then again, this tomato plant that I'm gonna actually deal with tomorrow when I come in. It has some pretty tomatoes on it starting, but I just really need to pull the whole thing up and not lose product. So more onions over here mixed in with grass, beautiful sunflowers, zinnias, more sunflowers. Ooh, that's like a double. And more onions. Long beans are along these fences. One thing I didn't mention, but we have lots of garlic coming in. And I did notice some scapes over here where Rob is. He's going through some of the lettuce, the very last little bit of lettuces that we have. But it looks like, so these are all turban garlics from filigree. And stinking snails. We have snails everywhere, do you? Anyway, this real pretty garlic. We planted that November 6th, but real pretty aside from the snails. And look, we have some scapes here. So we don't always get scapes here in this part of Zone 9A, but it looks like we're gonna get a few out of that. And look how beautiful that is. More beets in here. So tons and tons of sunflowers. All of the plums just look gorgeous since George took care of them. Here's our weeping mulberry that just produces every single day. And the minute you think you got all of them, you go deep inside and you find more. And this is just great because Clara made this great, well, we've had this weaver for a while. We had piece poles, and then I had this weaver put in so that we could weave things like this. And we've done a little bit, but nothing as glorious as this. So I really appreciate Clara coming out. She did a diptych, which means that we have 2 panels here. And our Brazilian pepper. I actually saw some flowers on it a couple of weeks ago, but now I can't find where. I'm looking forward to the day to get pink peppercorns. And our fruit trees, and Greasy sits over here. We did put a little bit of snacks in here in case people need food. Gracie, the figs looking great. Loquat, that came from Diana several years ago. Again, more sunflowers. We have loofah is coming in strong, just on its own. Well, this is either loofah or kukuza. I honestly have no idea. And a little zinnia coming in. I threw something over here. Our adorable container. No, we do not have COVID-19, but we don't want it, so we're limiting people that can come into the container. And again, we lost our funding. Don't know when that could possibly come back, but could surely use your support or help in any way. And of course, we only take a few volunteers. So here's our compost that I mentioned, and here's our great little educational section that we're embedding in here, just how long it takes for things to decompose. So cotton t-shirt, leaves, a year. And I'm sure it matters like how much heat and pressure you have on that, right? And how big your pile is. But this is kind of our system. And it's been super exciting because we've been getting all kinds of compost from the Daily Squeeze and embedding that in here. And then they're using some of our kales. So really cool partnership. They are still open. Please do support them and know that they're supporting us, and they have great stuff. One of my favorites obviously is the thin mint, because they're getting their chocolate mint from the garden. We have our great mulch pile over there from Adam, Green Branch, and then there's actually a mulberry over there too. Empty the compost and scoot out of here. This is almonds. I love when we have the almonds. I smell coffee. Doesn't smell too bad for a waste product. Look at that. Look at all those almonds. Let's see if Emily missed a fresh one. So cool. And then we want to cover this up. So we cover it up so that it doesn't really start to rot. It does more breaking down than rotting.
Cover it up with what?
Leaves, mulch, anything. So if you ever want to share compost, that's fine, but we don't want any plastic in here. We don't really want any meat in here. And paper is okay if it's not written on, especially coffee filters. Let's see what they got in this one. And I'm actually going to cover it with some of that debris since it's sitting here. And this is my off day. Coffee and beets and oranges.
I hope you're going to be washing those socks later.
Huh. Yeah, that's why you wear closed-toed shoes in the garden. Pineapple tops. Yummy.
Say stop.
I'm just going to take all this and just cover it for now. David comes on Fridays and mixes it up. But we want to keep it covered so it's not all rotty and smelly. And hopefully it'll do some breaking down. And when David comes on Friday, we'll take a temperature reading because having all of this live, raw food has really increased our temperature and which helps things break down quicker. All right, thanks. Thanks for watching. See you in a month.